Hey everyone, welcome back to Movement and Miracles. My name is Megan Campbell and I'm so excited to be here with you today. For those of you that haven't met Grace yet, this is my sweet new little puppy and she isn't as comfortable with the video or camera that Lola was yet anyway, but it's actually perfect that she is here with us today because we're talking about whether or not you're smothering or mothering yourself. And this is a topic I'm really passionate about right now, and not only because of things that I've felt being a yoga teacher and spiritual leader and meditation teacher in the community, but also because I have tons and tons of women students, very particularly, who come to me to talk about this idea of ultimately perfectionism. So the idea of smothering, we talk about it and we think about, killing something by putting too much attention on it. Or when we talk about it in parenthood, for example, it's really killing something within a child by smothering them with too much attention or too much control or too many rules, for example. And then it also means when we smother a mass of something that kills something or dwells something. And ultimately, when we come into the spiritual path, we can think about smothering ourselves as a way of trying to be too perfect. We're ultimately putting so much pressure on ourselves at all times to be, the quote-unquote perfect yogi or perfect teacher or perfect woman or perfect mother, that what ends up happening is we start to kill this part of ourselves, our spirit or our soul. We become so obsessed with this way of being, the way we think things should be, that we aren't really listening and in tune and intuitive to our soul's greater message. And the other thing that happens when we are smothering ourselves is we can actually suffer from self-care burnout, I think is what Danielle Laporte called it, and I loved that, where we try so hard to go to this extreme that we end up just finally one day, in the world of addictions, excuse my language, but they call it the fuck it. And this is really what it means to say we go so far this way that one day we're just like, never mind, this isn't working, I'm not perfect, I ate that piece of cake, I smoked that cigarette, I had that wine, I didn't go for my run, I didn't do the gym this one day, so screw it all, I'm going to go off the deep end to the other side. So ultimately there's no balance, right? And in this world of healing and helping, we can get really trapped in this idea that something is so bad that it's throwing us off and making us not and no longer spiritual or yogic or whatever it is that we may think of ourselves, a great parent because, we screamed at our child. And ultimately, in the end of all of that, what ends up happening to us is that we carry this sense of guilt and shame. But to carry the guilt and shame is ultimately what's killing our connection to soul, to spirit. So here is my number one most helpful tool along this spiritual path, at least it has been for me, this idea of mothering yourself instead. So for example, you are on this great paleo diet and you're feeling fabulous in your body and you're feeling really strong and good, and then you go to a party and you have too much wine and you eat chips and you have a piece of cake, and rather than the next day waking up and berating yourself and feeling guilty and feeling terrible and completely diverting yourself off that path of health and happiness and empowerment, take a moment to really just sit with yourself and mother yourself. What would your mom tell you? If you had a beautiful, most perfect relationship with your mother, what would you want her to tell you? Or maybe what has she told you in the past when you've made a mistake, when you veered off course? Would she run you a bubble bath? Would she tuck you in with a good book? Would she read you a story? How would you want to be treated? You mother yourself in that way. When you veer from the path, when you make a mistake, when you get stuck, when you're blocked, mother yourself. And this ultimately, if we do this for 3 breaths or 3 minutes or 3 hours, whatever it is, whatever we have time for, whatever amount is really needed, we can really start to avoid that major leap to the other side, or kind of down that kind of darker path of our emotions, of our addictions, of our guilt and shame, and carrying this darker sense of self. So this week, in the beauty of Mother's Day and all of that carries and holds with it, I really want you to think about mothering yourself. Make sure that you are taking good care of your heart, of your connection to spirit and soul, first and foremost, through those few moments or minutes or hours in your day, a day in your month if you have to and you can, and that's all you can find, to really pamper yourself and take care of yourself the way the most perfect mother in the world has or would, or you want to. And one of the really great programs that I offer in learning to do this is actually my online program called the Joy Circle. And it's specifically for women, exclusively for women. And it's at your own pace, online and on demand. And we work through the chakras and all the different energy centers in the body. And as a beautiful gift for the women in my community, if you want to learn kind of how to work with your energy, how to self-care and self-mother your beautiful life and your beautiful self, I recommend this program highly. It's had many transformative moments for many women, hundreds who have taken the program. And because it is Mother's Day, for the next 48 hours, I am offering a 2-for-1 special on the Joy Circle. So if you buy the Joy Circle for yourself, you get to gift it to one amazing woman in your life and mother her with some self-care and some self-wisdom, learning about the self. So I hope that helps you along your path this week or this month. It has been such a joy and an honor, as always, to connect with each and every one of you. I'm sending you beautiful love and light, and may you always take care of yourself like the Divine Mother and her grace would have you. Namaste.